I don't know how that crap works.
Oh my god.
Recording. No.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. Are you holding that straight? I can't tell. I don't know.
It's fine.
I don't trust you with
I'm
anything.
not a tripod, alright?
You're a camera man. Camera person. 2019.
Shut up.
But on to the topic of today's video. So, last time I put the engine and transmission back in the car, as you can see. The car starts up fine, it runs, it moves around. One problem though, the transmission, I don't know if something got inside of it or I put something together wrong, but it doesn't run right. The engine runs right, but the transmission doesn't go fast, like at all. So, while for these past month, I've been sorting through this transmission, trying to find what the issue is. I ran into everything. So as soon as I got this in and running and dialed in and timing right, the transmission stopped working. So I pulled it out and I ran into every problem under the sun. As soon as I fixed something, another problem just sprouted out of nowhere, and I've been dealing with that, and basically I ended up with an almost rebuilt transmission, or I've resealed the entire thing. So the kickdown cable broke, and because of this make and model and year, they don't make that anymore. So I had to get my dad to rebuild one from scratch out of spare wire and stuff. I had to reseal that, and then some wires I had to resolder together. It was just a whole thing. So once I had all that done, put it back together, put it back in the car, I thought I had solved it, and it stays in first gear. There's no pressure in it, so I have to put gas for it to even start moving, and it's been a really long. Like this should have taken a weekend, rebuild the engine, put it back in. No, but it's been like 3 months because this thing is the bane of my existence. I'm cursed. Every car I touch just breaks down on me. We're switching things up, and the original plan was to get this car behind here, the parts car that was in the other videos, and rebuild it, shift all the stuff from this rust bucket to that, and then have a fully restored Mark II Supra. Because life is the way it is, that's not the case. So what we're gonna do is just take this junk automatic transmission out, because I hate automatics anyway, and we're gonna take the 5-speed out of this, the clutch, all the lines and hardware, and just transfer it over. So that's what we're doing today, and hope you like it. So we're gonna get started on this swap, and the first thing we need to do is take this automatic transmission back out. Yeah. I never realized how much heavier an automatic is compared to a manual.
Well, like you have to have the, yeah, because you gotta have like the synchro gears and stuff. Because in the manual you don't need it because you're doing it yourself.
Do that hand motion again.
No, what you're talking about.
All right, automatic is out.
I know it's got a hole in that trans tunnel. You got a hole in that trans tunnel?
How do you think the shifter is connected to the transmission, Dean?
Usually they just make a little hole just for the shifting cable.
Yeah. No. This is the shifter. There's a hole. It's an automatic, but it still has a hole.
In your soul?
In the yeah, I do have a hole in my soul. Alright guys, so we just got done taking the transmission out of this thing, and I did not know this before, but automatic transmissions, or at least this one for this car, is like significantly heavier than the 5-speed manual. So on top of getting this 5-speed in here, we're going to save a lot of weight. That's like 50 pounds heavier. So while I've been doing this, Dean has actually been getting all the manual stuff off of this car. So we got the clutch, the clutch, flywheel, the clutch pedal, transmission out here, and then all he has left to do is to get the master cylinder for the clutch out. But while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and pressure wash this filthy thing, and then we're going to get started in putting this in there. So how's it going?
Up yours.
Now that the trans is out, and now that the 5-speed's cleaned up, and thanks to Dean, we got the clutch pedal assembly out and the reservoir and the hard lines out. So before we can put the 5-speed in there, we're going to have to tear apart the interior, get to the plug for this thing, and then clear the hole for this. Thing is, someone came in before and wired some of this up, and I think this might be for the reverse camera on this car. That's someone aftermarket, of course, but they actually wired it through the hole where the reservoir goes. So I'm gonna have to unhook the wire here and rewire it through another channel, and then install the reservoir. So that's next on the list. Alright guys. Felony hole?
Yeah, in case you need to ditch the product before you get pulled over.
Sounds like a euphemism for butt. Or a really weird dubbed porno from like Russia.
Yeah, people put holes in the floor of their cars, especially when they're drug dealing. If they get caught, they drop stuff through the floor.
Sure. Why would you know that, Dean?
That's what you gotta do when you gotta do it.
Okay. Anyways, so we finished getting the dash out, not the dash, the center console out. It was kind of a challenge because this aftermarket touchscreen radio that someone else put in, I had to get around all those wires, but we did it. I read online that between the automatic and the 5-speed of this car, the holes are different, and I'd have to cut it, but this is actually looking like the same size hole in that car over there. So I think this is going to work out fine, but it's been a long day. Dean is tired of me, and I'm just tired, so we are going to call it quits, and we're going to continue this tomorrow. What's up guys, it's the next day. I can't finish putting the transmission back into the car because I forgot to order the pilot bearing. So I went ahead and did that. So what I'm going to focus on today is installing the clutch pedal assembly, master cylinder, and do a little bit of rewiring. So let's get to work. Guys, and welcome back. It's the next day. Finally got the clutch pedal assembly in and the master cylinder, and the pilot bearing finally came in. The only real issue I had is that the difference between this auto body and the 5-speed body is for the clutch pedal assembly, there's 2 holes that goes up in this bracket that's spot welded into that body that it doesn't exist on this one. But I figure that the 2 bolts that are attaching to the master cylinder will be enough for the pedal to work, so I'm not too worried about that. But if it becomes an issue, I'll have to take everything apart again. I don't want to do that. So now it's time to put this 5-speed back into here. So, now that we're into the car, this is the reason why I needed the pilot bearing, for those of you that don't know, because without this I can't do anything else. So this is the automatic flywheel, and that'll come off in a second. Before I do that, the pilot bearing goes into this hole right here. Since this was an automatic originally, there is no pilot bearing to speak of, but if you were to change this out on a 5-speed, there would be a pilot bearing already here. So naturally, you gotta take that out before you can put a new one in. Typically what a lot of mechanics do, they'll use grease, and what they do is stuff it into the center hole and just keep punching it, because the pilot bearing has a hole in the center, and the more you pack it in, it'll eventually push the pilot bearing out. I've also seen people use soap. Personally, I recommend bread. Yes, I said bread. Bread is the least messy, it's easy to clean up, it doesn't damage anything, and I'll put a link in the video in the description showing a video that I watched someone actually using bread. Now, remember, white bread is perfectly fine, but I recommend wheat bread, whole nut, you know, any of the healthy choices. You'll thank me later. So let's go ahead and put it in. I mean, fill that hole, or you get what I mean. Alright guys, this is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the second part where we'll see if we can get this thing running. However, I did fail to mention that this transmission came out of a car that was sitting in a yard for God knows how long. So I don't even know if it worked. So if you want to find out along with us, then stay tuned for the next part. Hope to see you then. Peace. What? Do it. Do it. Do it. Little bitch. That's what I thought. Ow! Ow! Nothing gets done, Bean. Bean? Your name's Bean now. See what happens when you eat too much bean curd? No one cares for it. Bean curd is delicious. It's the most delicious thing on the goddamn planet. I don't care who you are. Bean curd is amazing. Little fuck.
Yeah, if you got a new palate.
Oh, I have a palate. I have a palate. There's some 5-star Michelin chef shit in my mouth. Oh. Alright. Is it on? I don't. What was that?
You gonna do your thing or not?
Okay, fine. I swear to God, if it's not recording or the mic isn't on this
We're
time,
gonna have
I
to find out.
hate you so much. Okay, welcome.